splotches of brown on those rocks. You can see I kind of built this in an old router I found for dramatic effect. Technology meets nature, something like that. I don't know. Once these browns are built up, switch to, surprisingly, a yellow ochre color. Look at that, ugh. Baby poop. Add that to certain areas too, try to get it to run down a little bit. And dilute it a little bit more. Not loving how bright that is. So let's just wash that out a little bit. There you go. Okay. Then I just want to add a little bit of stone gray. I'm doing some work off camera here. All right. Now, more brown down here. Time for some magic. Here comes our slate gray. I'll do a massive wash over this whole thing. I wish I had a little bit bigger brush. But look, y'all. I mean, this is like, just like, if y'all saw this desk. Anyway. All right, let's give it a big wash. That stone come to life. You can kind of see it taking shape. Later we're going to come through with black and get into those crevices and really make it separate and shadows and all such forth. Right now I'm just trying to build up a layer of gray. You have to forgive me, my phone holder is blocking who's joining, but welcome. Hope you're enjoying this. Maybe I should do like less aggressive brush strokes, but it doesn't matter. You can see it's really starting to take life now. Kind of looking like a brick wall. Really, all it takes, it's not that hard. These pigments are, I buy them from Woodland Scenics, but you could just dilute acrylic paint. Sometimes it dries a little bit funky. You can kind of see here, this is where I put the sculpt mold, and I always have trouble with paint taking there. So sometimes I have to come back through with a darker gray, less diluted, and really set that off. But man, it's looking pretty good, y'all. I'll say that much. Let's work this front a little bit. You can see there too, that white is going to be really hard to get rid of. For some reason, Sculptamold doesn't like taking pigment as well as the plaster, even though it's technically the same thing. But We got rocks. Let me adjust this so y'all see. I'm gonna hit cut on the other camera. So I found this old router. You can see I've sort of built rocks into it. I also wired it up here so that eventually the front of it will light up a nice green color. And I want to have like just a dude and his dog hanging out here. Let me show you. Like old man in his little chair, chilling by the river, and his dog just hanging out, you know? Seems like a good day to me, better than being on the internet. I got this pack of little rock climbers too. Have them going up there, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. We'll keep working these rocks a little bit, and then come in, fill this pink with some Sculptamold, and depending on how much time I have, I'd like to add some dirt today too. And then look at that, we're gonna put a tree in there. Oh, it's over. Oh, it's gonna be good. All right, let me just readjust a few things here. Stand by, everybody. All right. We'll do the same thing to this little pile of rocks here. We're just gonna add some more baby poop. Oh, I just spilled some on my table. I have this shop space in downtown Los Angeles, and the neighbors have a yappy dog. I don't know what the fuck they do over there, but it's fine. So if you hear a dog yapping, it is not my dog. You have to forgive me, I don't go live very often. Just had a little bit of free time after work today, and I thought this would be something fun. And I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. A little more brown. I like to pretend that there's methods to this, but like rocks are random, so we were just being random and just kind of finding. I just love it when like it streaks down like that. It's a really natural look, I think. You don't want to go too far though. Got some rocks in this riverbed. Eventually this is going to be all resin. Little stream going through there. All right. Let's hit it with some more of the slate gray now. Y'all can hear those yappy dogs, I know. No offense if you own a yappy dog, I don't get it. It's like, life is peaceful. You know what I'd like to add to that? Just ear-piercing screeching every couple minutes. But whatever. Okay, looking good. So what I think I'd like to do now that we have this, sorry, that's the sound of my other camera next to here. I'm trying to get some shots as I work. I'd like to try to work in, get some good lighting for everybody here. Maybe the front here. You can see here, it's an old router, didn't work, not enough speed or something, I don't know. Spectrum people try to rip me off. I just like taking old electronics and I like using them as a base for these scenes. What I really should do is dye this Sculptamold gray or something before I apply it, because I always have issues with white edges. I appreciate that compliment. Not so nice. Oh my God, y'all are too nice. Jeez. Coming from the wrong side of the internet. Usually full of assholes. And anyway, touching up top here. I know this stand is bumpy as hell. We'll improve on this. We'll work on this. Take the tip of this brush and try to clean up some of this extra plaster that's in there. Okay. Yeah. Hit these in the rock bed. I don't know. I was looking at some reference pictures of alpine rivers, and there's a lot of like flat stones. And I'm not sure how I'm going to do that quite yet. I think I'm just going to scrape up all this extra plaster that's on my desk, sprinkle it around down in there. But first, let's do this. Take some, just like this is just for Michael's. That's what I'm saying. Y'all could do this. It's not that hard. I'm gonna, I mean, like, I don't want to be this way, but like, I'm really bad at cleaning up after myself. I think that's kind of why I have this shop space. Because if I do it at home, I'm gonna add a little bit of water. Only smart water, touches my dioramas. That's the reality of it. All right, now I'm just gonna, since the rocks are kind of painted, tilt you down a little bit, everybody here. I'm just gonna fill in all this white with some brown. This is gonna eventually get covered with dirt and maybe some more stones and stuff, but I just want to get a sense of what I'm working with and hide as much white as I can. Like, the thing about it is you don't need to get it right away. We're just going to build layers and layers, and that's what I feel like really makes it realistic. The nice thing about building it in an old electronic is it doesn't have to look like any place real. Like, someone tries to tell me it doesn't look like the right rock. I was like, okay, well, it's fine. There's no giant routers in nature either, you know what I mean? I think right here, I'm going to paint that brown. try to put some trees and stuff coming up there. I think that would look really nice. Probably have one or two sets of really nice brushes, and I use them for painting miniatures, but man, I ruin these old cheap Michaels brushes constantly. I'm so bad at cleaning them. And so it's nice to just not pay a lot of money and just put them through the ringer, you know. All right, so I've made an error. Well, not really an error, but this piece right here, I really forgot to put anything on it, sculpt a mold or anything. So I need to add that, I think, before I paint, just to add, otherwise it's just gonna be flat earth. I'm not gonna do that. So I am looking around frantically for a cup to mix up some sculpt mold in. So everyone just hang out for a second. This is the sound of me getting a cup and putting gloves on. We're coming around here. Show you the magic of sculpt mold. Push our friend back here. It's a nice cup. I'm not sponsored by Sculpt Mold, but I'm here. Just saying, if you're watching, sponsor me. Jeez, just gonna put a little. We're gonna get most of it in the cup, some of it off to the side, and some of it onto the diorama. I don't want to be this way either, but here we are. And I don't have much water. So I'm going to pour what's left from this Yeti cup into there. The ratio is on the bag. Don't ask me. I don't know. I'll stir that up. It's a little wet. It shouldn't look like oatmeal. And if it's too wet, it takes too long to dry. So I'm going to add a little bit more. It should be like a dry oatmeal, I'd say. I don't really like a wet oatmeal. I don't really like oatmeal. There we go. Oh, it's a nasty sound. Okay. We got the sculpt mold. Let's bring the Rama a little closer. We're just going to add it right here to the edge. I'm thinking in terms of how I'm going to frame this. And this is the angle I like. You sort of have the modem in the foreground. You can see pieces of the electronics. Our hero characters will be sitting there, and maybe a couple climbers. So knowing that, I'm going to kind of play with it so that we have it slope down a little bit this way. So draw your eye towards the subject, which will be right there. So that's what I'm loosely keeping in mind here as I smear the forbidden cream cheese across this surface. Now, the nice thing about sculpt mold is It's a little harder to work with when it's wet, but as it dries, you can smooth it with your finger. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to work it on here. I want anybody who's looking straight on to be able to see the river I'm building, so I don't want to build it up too high. Mm-hmm. As an instant gratification person, the most annoying part about this whole process, I know it's supposed to be mindful and tedious or whatever, but I just wish stuff dried faster. Like, boom, dry. Let me move on to the next thing. So we gotta sit here and be patient. It's a good exercise. All right. And if you're just joining, I'm a little sick. So if I'm mouth breathing, I'm sorry. I was recording something the other day, listening to the audio back, and I was like, God, do I breathe like that? Does anybody want to be around me? Let me wedge this up. Show you what I'm talking about here. I wish I was. I do a pretty good deal of planning when I start to make these, but I always end up sort of painting myself in a corner because I want this to be rocks, like this river. You know, my desk is full of random crumbs, but I don't know exactly how I want to do that. I think my plan, as I rifle around in here a little bit, to find something that I don't think I have. Yeah. I've got this little thing, a little jar of dirt. And I think to scale, if I do this right, sprinkle it down in there, it'll end up looking like the river rocks, especially if I paint it gray. So I'm going to work on that a little bit. Raise you guys up. Hold on, everybody. We're going up. Just going to sprinkle that in there. I don't really care what's in there. It's all going to go gray. But it is looking like all those little pebbles you see in a sort of alpine river. So I'm sorry, sometimes I don't finish my sentences. Maybe some twigs get pulled out or something, but it's looking pretty good. I'm just trying to see if I can adjust a little higher here so we can all see what's going on. See what I mean? That's a good angle. Grab a set of tweezers. Ooh, just hit the light. This is more to just show off. This has nothing to do with actually miniature making. All those shots of people using tweezers to put stuff in the miniature is like, I don't know. It looks cool, but I don't know. You don't need it. I like that. I like that a lot. It looks nice. So what I think I'm going to do, if you're a fan of the homies at Boulder Creek Railroad L, you'll know this little trick. This is like, I'm going to add some isopropyl alcohol. That's going to soak through everything, break all the surface tension. And then somewhere in here, I am not prepared. I've got some watered down Mod Podge. When I realized it was Mod Podge and not Mod Podge, it blew my mind a little bit. Berenstain Bears kind of vibe. I'll let all that glue run out of there. Oh, we love it. We is me. Grab a paper towel, be right back. Just want to soak up all that extra Mod P. Okay. I'm going to be really impatient, but I just want to see what it looks like. So we're just going to take a little bit of this gray while everything dries and just kind of add it in there. Yeah, we should wait. Okay, you're right, guys. Okay, we should wait. Maybe I'll hit it with the airbrush. That's what I'm saying. I just wish it would dry faster so that I can keep making it, but you know, patience. Okay. Bring it back to the wide shot. Hold on, we're moving. Okay. What I can do is now paint that sculpt mold. That is something you can paint while wet. It's one of the perks. Oh yeah, and you can see now. Oh, we can just smooth it down nicely with our fingers. Don't want to go too crazy, but this is going to be, I guess, HO scale, so some bumps, but not too crazy there. We'll paint that, and I think we're close to be able to do our first black wash. You're supposed to let it dry completely, but if you have learned anything, that is not my style. So we're just going to see what that looks like. So I'm just going to hit this with some brown. This is not to be perfect. it's all going to have soil over it in the end. So if it looks like terrible chocolate, that's okay. This is compelling content. Close-up of a gloved hand. Just a crazy person talking to himself while he paints a router that has rocks on it. Yeah, looks good. A couple little things. I'm going to have a frame for it, so I'm not too worried about this white edge on the front. It's going to have a wood frame. I'm going to come around the back side here now. Do the same thing with that brown. That's going to be real hard to add dirt and stuff to. I should have, I don't know, maybe given my more space on the back side. I don't know. It might be too on the nose. I was thinking about plugging something in here that's all frayed. Sort of the point of it being is like every once in a while we should disconnect, which is kind of ironic considering I'm streaming this live, but yeah. That's kind of revealing all of these inconsistencies over here. So let's just get in here and paint that. This might end up being gray, but I definitely don't want it stark white. Do I care about this back? I don't know what to do with that. I'm thinking about this will be wood. Maybe that goes black, but I guess in the interim, there was some brown. The thing about acrylic paint is it's fairly easy to clean off. Again, this is just the first layer. Probably have some grass or some vines or something growing up on that. That's the back, you know? Put it on a shelf. No one will see it. You know, unless you buy this from me, then of course we'll make it perfect. But doing just for fun, who cares? Okay. I'll make an adjustment here to the camera. There we go. So yeah, like you can see here, and I think I might add some more noise because like modern day circuit boards are not that interesting. It's just a couple little pieces. Everything is so small now. So I might add a few more wires, more chaos in here to make it feel a little bit more alive. These are added because they are plugged into the front. I put some green LEDs in there, and look, I mean, look at that really shoddy work. Yeah. All right, I'm going to take some less diluted gray. Let's see if I can't get the Sculptamold to be gray. You see I'm spilling it and I don't care. I don't care. It's going to be fine. It's starting to work for us, isn't it? I mean, you don't want whatever the hell that is, you don't want in there. A little piece of hair. Get rid of that. Yeah, it's a little darker gray is working. Like, I don't mind spots like this that have more white. It kind of feels like granite to me, you know. So if there's a little bit of that, that's okay. In fact, I don't really like this being brown up here. Let's just add some of that. Some up here too. The biggest thing is I like really dark scenes, but I remember a drawing teacher telling me, like, this is in high school. Like, don't. I'm not like, yeah, I can't draw worth anything, but that all my stuff was very, very dark. I like shading too much, I think. I'm sure everybody needed to know that. Okay, it's coming along nicely. Here, get it right in there. Okay. Don't really like the way this rock looks, but cool. We're just building up layers. And the main rock has been drying for a little bit. So I'm going to bring that a little closer to show you what this is. Just a very watered down black wash. I'm just going to start adding that. I'll light around a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. That's going to pick up all the shadows, crevices, and the cracks. Give it a sense of scale. The last step to this, once you've done a black wash, is to come in with like a light gray, dry brush that over, which if we do this again, I can show. That'll make the highlights pop back out. Really get in there too. Sorry, I realized I want to roll on this with my my other camera because this is cool looking. After getting carried away, I can sense it. But I can always bring that back up with some highlights. And I'm not worrying about paint getting on any of the browns or anything here because, like I said, I'm going to cover everything in soil. I think someone just threw a beer bottle off the roof. Oh, downtown LA, y'all. Thinking that's looking pretty good for a first pass. We'll let all this dry a little bit. Bring this around. Work the front a little bit. Oops. It's looking a little grayer than the rest. I don't know if I'm mad at it. Yeah, let's streak or two of brown in there just to good measure. There we go. I'm not sure what to do with this area down here. I think I'm going to have to build it up with rocks. I don't like it. I think when I made it, I was looking down from the top over it, and I didn't realize that I was making such an empty space. I can use this black to also blend in some of the mistakes I made up top. Or, you know, some of the plaster that has spilled over. Okay. Let's rotate this around. Time to hit some of this. So what's next is that I'm going to have to let this dry, which sucks. And once that's dry, I will probably start adding dirt and fake plants. Sort of build it up. Like right now, you can see it. This looks great. Got a bunch of coloration, yellows, browns, whatever. This is looking a little black and white. I think maybe I didn't do my best work leopard spotting it, so I'm just going to try to add some brown in there. Just right now. When that dries, we'll do another layer of gray over the top. Just want it to be a bit more interesting. Okay. Everything is drying now. And you can hear me rustling around. I'm looking for some way of applying the dirt. A little filter or something, which I might not have. Because I'd love to sort of sift out some fine dirt here. Bear with me, everybody, as I figure that out. Because I have this dirt, and it's like a really funny story. I was walking here, and I had it all in a box, and then I dropped and broke a bunch of jars with all my little fake dirt and leaves and all that stuff, and then I just kind of scooped it all into one and tried not to cry. But you know, you see broken glass in nature sometimes, so I'm just gonna go for this. Trying to pour off sort of the larger pieces here. So we're left with something a little finer. That's looking pretty good. So now, bring you down a little bit. I'm just going to focus on this front, getting soil. So all I'm going to do is come across the top and sprinkle it over. I think if I was being like more precise and true to scale, I'd more finely sift this. And if the paint was drier, I'd probably add some glue first. But I just want to show you guys the process. And maybe I'll adjust later. What I don't want is, piece of broken glass that's right there. It's more dangerous than you think, making a miniature. That's what I'll say. All right, I'm gonna grab that right out of there. Look at that. It's like something would get buried in your foot. And this like extra stuff that got mixed in, I'm gonna pull it out too. So, like there are these live plants underneath. I'm gonna pull those out. Okay. Let's add some dirt here. Now, what I would like to do, kind of have to figure it out. I think what I'm going to do is break a bunch of plaster and sort of make some scree or rock fall to make it look a little bit more accurate. But man, that's not looking too bad. It's not looking too bad. I'll have to add it to the side. I honestly think in nature, this would not be dirt. This would be stone. So I think once this is all dry, I'll come in and give that same stone treatment. So this looks like more like rock. I'll see these bigger chunks are looking nice. Wouldn't be bad to have some up top, kind of in those crevices. This is where I'm going to get in trouble, these sort of meeting points of the stone and the rock molds. Kind of shove that in place. All right, let's not get greedy here. Let's go ahead and stick that down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do little spritz of isopropyl alcohol. You see what I always do this. I don't have the right spritzer and ends up making these craters, but I just sprinkle right over the top. Like I said, it's a game of layers, y'all. I'm not going to get it right the first time. It's sort of liberating to think about it that way. Think about how a forest is formed or mountain range. It's just time. All right. I have this excellent habit of setting something down and then forgetting where I set it. We're going to try to do this one for that. It's a little more gentle. This is my first time going live. I thought it'd be kind of fun. Don't know if you're enjoying it or not, but I hope you are. Don't even know if my headphones are working, but I hope they are. If it's just silent, that's fine too. You don't have to listen to me ramble. I'd like to add a little bit more color here. A little bit more down here. Yeah, there's a lot of chunks of vegetation that got mixed in with my dirt when I broke everything. But this is not going to be a sparse landscape. It's going to be pretty full of life, so not worried about it. I think this whole shoreline is going to be static grass. I've made this really fun tree. That's probably going to rest. I had a little hole for it earlier. Somewhere in this realm. All I got to do now is find my glue, which I set down behind me. Let's back this up into the light a little bit so you can see. It's going to stick that down. If it wasn't clogged, there we go. This is watered down Mod Podge. It's 1 part Mod Podge to 4 parts water. It's going to take like overnight to dry. Another piece of broken glass. I don't want anybody to litter at this crag. Okay. Might be coming to a close here. It's 8:40. But that's what we're looking at right now. What I don't like is that this tree blocks the circuit board. We might have to adjust that because I really want to be able to see that. It's saying I'm being inactive. I got to drag a puzzle piece. Weird. Just gonna pull this off for a second here. Okay. As you can see, the rock is looking pretty nice. Blending really nicely there. We've got this beautiful tree in place. Our ground and soil is drying. A lot of work left to do to make these areas. Turn it this way. This is the front. Again, pretty nasty, but let me put it back on the holder and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. I want this to be sort of the hero angle. We'll put it back on here. Hopefully I don't destroy everything. This is what I would like our hero angle to look like. Something like this. Figure out the lighting later. Maybe the light's kind of there. And then we're going to have our little friend chilling in the camp chair. He's going to be right around here. There's a little dog. Right there. See him enjoying the shade of that tree. which is going to be a lighting nightmare, I'm realizing. Probably have to light them for the other side, but that's sort of the vibe. Then the other thing I'd love to have is a few little rock climbers. I think would be really nice. I don't know how lively I want the scene to be. Like, part of me likes just the solitude of a guy and his dog hanging out by a river, and the other part of me likes making it a fully sort of lively scene. So we'll see. But I have these little guys here. Maybe a belayer, some cinders. It's like V2 in my gym right there, coming up this way, you know. I don't know, my wife's a climber, she makes that joke all the time, so. Okay, I think I have to be at a stopping point here, just because I have to let all this stuff dry. Like I said, if it would instantly dry, it would make me so happy, but again, it's an old router. I've sort of reconfigured this port so that the front will light up green. We got our guy chilling there. I'll show you one more thing. I made this wood base for it. I did not show off any sort of woodworking skill here. I just slammed it together. But that'll sit right in there. And I'm, happy to do that right now because I'm seeing some issues with the sculpting mold there, but we'll fix all that. So that's going to be it right there. We'll have a nice resin river, some water effects, possibly a feeder stream from this side, probably not. I hope you enjoyed my first ever live. And yeah, thanks. As soon as I figure out how to stop this, I will sign off.